The American G part, the XM-246, is coming to War Thunder, but the big question is, will this anti-air actually be any good? Let's try to figure it out. I couldn't find one solid source, so I'm pulling this from a bunch of different ones, too many to count, honestly. Also, this is part 3 of my mini-series covering TSO predictable vehicles, so let's get into it. To clear up any confusion, this was a tank design that never entered service. It lost to its competitor, the M247. It will use the M48 hull, which is already in many tech trees. For an anti-air, it's decent, nothing groundbreaking, but solid enough. As for firepower, it's armed with two 45mm Oerlikons, the same guns used in the G part, Type 87 and ITPSV Leopard. These cannons are great, offering high firepower and shooting faster than the M247. They can carry APDS rounds as well as regular API and HEI rounds. It could also come with a laser rangefinder, which would definitely make it more effective. Now, range is tricky to compare. Surprisingly, even though the XM-246 has a smaller caliber than the M247, its rounds have a higher muzzle velocity, which could mean better range. It might also get HEVT rounds, which are time-fused and would set it apart from the G part, Type 87 and ITPSV Leopard. However, if it does, I'd expect its BR to jump significantly. Since the US has an anti-air gap between 7.3 and 9.0, though, it's more likely to get the standard 35mm ammo and land at 8.3, where the G part and Type 87 are already placed. If it does end up with HEVT, it might be closer to 9.0 BR as a folder vehicle for the M247. Speed-wise, it's hard to say for sure, but from what I've seen, it will likely be a bit slower than the M247. And yes, as you can see, it's going to be huge, no surprises there. But here's a quick summary. It's armed with the same cannons as the G part, Type 87 and ITPSV Leopard. If you know how to use those, you'll be fine with this. It fires faster than the M247 with a higher muzzle velocity. Ammo should include API-T, HEI-T and APDS. Might get HEVT, which would make it unique, but it'll bump up the BR. Probably slower than the M247, okayish armor, but it's huge. Likely to have a laser rangefinder. As for its place in the tech tree, my guess is it will be 8.3 to fill the gap between 7.3 and 9.0. If it doesn't get HEVT, it will likely be rank 5, since the US has only one anti-air tank at that rank. But if it does get HEVT, it might end up at the same BR as the M247, maybe in a folder right after it. That's all I could find on it so far. This is part 3 of my mini-series on TSO predictable vehicles. If you missed them, I've already covered the FA-18 and Su-30SM or MKI, and next up will be the Rapier anti-air. After that, the Badger IFV, and finally the French battleship Richelieu. But that's it for now. Goodbye!